I'll read it to you and see how far it is correct. I was in charge of the General Department, Abteilung Allgemein, when the shooting of the escaped RAF prisoners of war from Stalag Luft 3 took place. That is correct, is it not?
Ja, da fehlt hier, wenn die Erschießung sich ereignete.
Yeah. Now, it was the first occasion on which Feldmarschall Keitel had sent for me. I went with General von Gravenitz. He had been sent for, and I was to accompany him. Is that right?
Jawohl.
A certain number of officers had escaped from the Sagan camp. I can't remember how many, but I believe about 80. That is correct, too. Now, next sentence. When we entered, the Feldmarschall was very excited and nervous and said, "Gentlemen, this is a bad business." Is that correct?
Jawohl.
Then we were always blamed whenever prisoners of war escaped. We couldn't tie them to our apron strings. That's your own comment. Then you go on as to what the Feldmarschall said. This morning, Goering reproached me in the presence of Himmler for having let some more prisoners of war escape. It was unheard of. You go on with your comment, is that then they must have had a row because the camp didn't come under us, it was a GAF camp. Is that correct, that the Feldmarschall said this morning, Goering reproached me in the presence of Himmler for having let some more PW escape, prisoners of war escape? It was
nicht in Himmlers Gegenwart, sondern in Hitlers Gegenwart. In Hitlers Gegenwart.
It ought to be in Hitler's presence.
Jawohl.
Yeah. Now, then the next sentence, all German Air Force camps came directly under the German Air Force itself, but the inspector of prisoner of war camps was in charge of all camps for inspection purposes. I wasn't inspected. We've all that explained. I don't think there's any dispute about the organization, so I won't trouble you about that. We've gone into it in this court in some detail, and so unless the tribunal wanted, I didn't intend to trouble this witness again. You say I wasn't inspector yet. General von Gravenitz was inspector, and all camps came under him in matters concerning inspection and administration. Then you say Goering blamed Keitel for having let those men escape. These constant escapes were a bad show. Then Himmler interfered. I can only say what the Feldmarschall told us, and he complained that he'd have to provide another 60,000 or 70,000 men as Landwachen, etc. Is that right? Did the Field Marshal say that? Now,
Max Wieland.
Full name. Your full name?
Wieland, W-E-E-L-E-N. Max.
Will you repeat this oath after me? I swear by God,
Ich schwöre bei Gott,
the Almighty and Omniscient,
dem Allmächtigen und Allwissenden,
that I will speak the pure truth
dass ich die reine Wahrheit sagen
and will withhold and add nothing.
nichts verschweigen und nichts hinzusetzen werde.
We must sit down.
The next officers of the prison camp at Sargon, that I have knowledge of this matter and wish to make the following statement without reserve. The shooting took place on the express personal orders of the former Führer, was carried out by the Gestapo. The officer in charge of the Staatspolizeileitstelle at Breslau was Oberregierungsrat Dr. Scharpwinkel. His immediate superiors were Chief of the SIPO, Dr. Kaltenbrunner, and Chief of Amt 4 of RSHA, SS Gruppenführer Müller. I am unable to give the names of the officers in charge of other districts of the Gestapo who carried out shootings in their districts. I insert here a small chart showing the organization of the SIPO. I now go to the bottom of page 2 in the English copy, and it's the bottom of page 3 in the copy which the witness has in his hands in German. During the course of time, this is talking about Stalag Luft 3, 99 escape tunnels had been dug. All of them had been discovered by the military. The 100th tunnel, dug in March 1944, proved successful to the extent that 80 officers were able to escape. On receipt of a telephone message from the camp headquarters to the police, I gave order for the Kriegsfahndung in accordance with the emergency instructions laid down. At Dr. Absalom's suggestion, having regard to the time lag, Grossfahndung was ordered. Moreover, the officer in charge of the Reichskriminalpolizeiamt had to be informed. He approved and confirmed the order for the gross alarm. Gradually, the search, which was carried out in all parts of Germany, led to the rearrest of practically all the escaped English officer prisoners, with the exception of 3, I believe. Most of them were recaptured while still in Silesia. A few had got as far as Kiel, Strasbourg, and the Aargau. It was then that one day at noon, I received a telegraphic instruction from General Neber to proceed at once to Berlin to be informed of a secret order. When I arrived in Berlin that evening, I saw General Neber in his office. I gave him a short, concise report on the whole matter. He then showed me a
Präsident. Herr Präsident, ich werde eben darauf aufmerksam gemacht, dass ich noch einige...
Ich habe auf das hin...
Wie von der
Ich bitte mich aber nicht misszuverstehen. Es haben selbstverständlich außerdem und früher viele Versuche stattgefunden, mit dem Roten Kreuz, ich möchte sagen, hinter dem Rücken Hitlers in Füllung zu kommen. Wobei ich zum Beispiel auf die ständige Verbindung des Auswärtigen Amtes verweise.
Wenn ich Sie recht verstehe, wollen Sie das an Professor Burkhardt gestellte Ansinnen, die Konzentrationslager zu besuchen, als eine Entlastung für sich selbst anführen.
Ja, selbstverständlich. Aber ich bitte, darüber noch viel ausführlicher und an anderer Stelle sprechen zu dürfen, weil es zeitlich jetzt nicht hereinpasst.
Die Anklage hat behauptet, während ihrer Amtszeit seien 2 Konzentrationslager errichtet worden, und zwar neu. Lublin und Herzogenbusch. Haben Sie irgendetwas hierüber erfahren? Wer könnte die Errichtung dieser Konzentrationslager befohlen haben?
Über den Zeitpunkt der Errichtung dieser beiden Konzentrationslager bin ich nicht orientiert. Fakten, sondern jedermann, der hier von Amerikanern gefragt wird, was wissen Sie davon? Und er mit Nein antwortet, als glaubwürdig Folgendes unter besonderer Berufung auf meine Wahrheitspflicht